Welcome back to the Crypto World channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, the Bitcoin price has just seen a brand new all-time high weekly candle close. For the Bitcoin holders out there, this is huge Bitcoin news today because this is confirming the direction that we are heading in. But obviously, that's not all that I'm covering in this video. I'll be going over the shorter-term Bitcoin analysis for Bitcoin today. I'll also be talking about some other huge patterns playing out on Bitcoin and also the entire crypto market cap. This is really important for not just Bitcoin holders, but for anyone that is involved in crypto, because right now we're potentially breaking the all-time high for the entire crypto market cap. So definitely make sure you're watching all the way to the end of this video so that you're not missing out on any of this important information. And just before we jump into it, make sure you're leaving a like on the video down below. And if you're new to the channel, you might as well subscribe with notifications turned on for more updates just like this every single day. But anyway, with all of that out of the way, let's get straight into what this video is about. So right here, we're on the Bitcoin US dollar chart on the weekly time frame. And what we can see here is we've just closed last week at a brand new all-time high in terms of weekly candle closes. Before the recent close that we've just had, the previous all-time high weekly candle close for Bitcoin was back here during April, and that was at around $60,000 US, just underneath 60,000. But we just closed last week for Bitcoin at around $61,500 US, making a brand new all-time high weekly candle close. And this is honestly really important because this is extra confirmation on the direction that we are heading in the bigger picture here, talking about the weekly time frame. Because I'll tell you this right now, we certainly do not see an all-time high weekly candle close in a bear market. So because of that fact, we've now got this extra confirmation that we are heading to the upside, at least in the longer term, talking about on the weekly chart and the monthly chart. And speaking about the monthly chart, by the way, we've got around 13 and a half days to go before we close the monthly candle, and we're actually on track to closing the highest monthly candle in the history of Bitcoin. And honestly, by the time we even close this monthly candle in around 13 and a half days from now, we might already be in an actual new all-time high above that $65,000 resistance level. But that's when the shorter term analysis comes into play for Bitcoin. Right now, we are still consolidating between the $63,000 level of resistance and the $60,000 level of support. Between my last video and right now, we did actually see a little shakeout below 60,000, but that turned out to just be a quick wick below. And then we got bought up pretty quickly back above that $60,000 level of support. So right now, if you're talking about the trends that we are in, I'm clearly very bullish, as I've said time and time again on the channel. Basically, ever since we broke above that $45,000 level, I am very bullish, and I'm still bullish on the trend. But with that being said, in the immediate short term, I'm actually quite neutral while we're trading between these support and resistance lines. And then the moment we either break support with confirmation or resistance with confirmation, that is how you know that Bitcoin is beginning its next major move. But considering how much bullish momentum is in the markets at the moment, even if we do break the support, it's likely that the potential move to the downside would not be as big as, for example, the move to the upside if we break the resistance. For example, you saw how quickly that wick just there got bought up. So there's definitely a huge amount of buyers down at these regions, especially towards $57,000 to $58,000 US. That was previous resistance for Bitcoin, pretty strong resistance. And so now that we're above that level, even if we do break below 60,000, that is now support for Bitcoin towards 58,000 approximately. Now talking about the resistance that's currently holding down the price of Bitcoin, that's beginning at around $63,000 US. And we were looking at that point of resistance even before we found resistance at that point. And I've got that line of resistance mapped out as a range of resistance all the way up to $65,000 US, because the 65K level is the all-time high for Bitcoin, as I mentioned earlier. And so basically, this is the final hurdle that Bitcoin needs to jump over before we're in brand new all-time highs. And the moment we start breaking above $65,000 US, that is when I would expect the next explosion in the Bitcoin price to the upside. But for the time being, while we're trading between resistance and support, technically speaking, in the imminent short term, we are looking more neutral above anything else. And honestly, any dip that we see, like what we saw just recently, I would consider these short-term dips as buying opportunities, especially in the current trend that we are in right now. And I'll just really quickly mention this pattern again for the brand new viewers on the channel. If we can break above the all-time high at around $65,000 US, we've got this major price target for the cup and handle pattern coming in at around $79,000 US, nearly 80,000. And we're actually getting close towards the halfway point between the breakout and this price target. So obviously, anyone that took this trade has done very well so far. But from where we are right now, we've still got another 28% worth of profits before we get up to that price target at around 79,000. But just in the shorter term, we still can't forget about that little bit of resistance that we have around 63 to 65,000 US dollars before we can start looking at these larger price targets. And now taking a look at the total crypto market cap. This is on the daily time frame, and right now we're sitting at just underneath $2.5 trillion US dollars. That is the total combined market cap of Bitcoin and every single other altcoin out there. And right now we're basically basically at the previous all-time high that we set back in the beginning of May, and we're potentially about to break out to the upside. In fact, right now, if you're zooming in a little bit closer, we actually are breaking out to the upside. We're kind of in the beginning stages. We're just waiting on a little bit more confirmation of this breakout. And also, if I go back to that all-time high that we previously set back in May and place a horizontal line at that exact all-time high at the top of that wick and go over to the current price, just a few days ago, we actually wicked just above the previous all-time high. So technically speaking, we have now breached into a brand new all-time high for the crypto market cap, at least according to this chart just here. But obviously that wasn't a successful breakout into a brand new all-time high. We only formed a quick wick above it, and that actually turned into a little bit of a short-term rejection. And for this chart, I'll be looking at candle closes or a potential retest of the all-time high to act as confirmation. And as for candle closes, I'll be looking at the daily time frame as a minimum, but obviously the higher the time frame, the more confirmation. So if we see a weekly or a monthly candle close above the all-time high, then that is even better. And by the way, that all-time high level is coming in at around 2.58 trillion US dollars. And when we finally get a confirmed break above the all-time high, that gives us a technical price target all the way up here at around 3.8 trillion US dollars for all of crypto. And that's simply the price target out of this huge cup and handle pattern that has been forming on the chart since the beginning of May, all the way up until just a few days ago. And by the way, that is a huge gain for crypto if we can actually play that out towards $3.8 trillion, because from the current crypto market cap where we are right now at around 2.5 trillion to that price target at 3.8 trillion, that's a 53% gain. And considering the fact that this is the total crypto market cap for all cryptos, that 53% gain on this chart is equivalent to Bitcoin and every single other altcoin out there as well having a 53% gain. But obviously not every single crypto is going to see the exact same gain. There's going to be some altcoins out there that will underperform that gain. But that means if we're still heading to that price target on this chart, if there's any cryptos that are seeing under a 53% gain, then we're going to see a lot of cryptos have a gain bigger than 53%. And honestly, it's quite likely that Bitcoin has a 53% gain or more before we finally top out for the bull market, because measuring out a 53% gain from where we are right now in the Bitcoin price, that takes us up towards around 95,000 US dollars. But another thing to mention is a lot of people out there think that I'm talking about these price targets happening this year, but that's not necessarily the case, because this bull market doesn't actually have to top out this year. In fact, there's still a strong possibility that we could perhaps continue this bull market into 2022. Pretty much the only thing that is saying that we should top out this bull market this year is the 4-year halving cycles, the 4-year halvings that are obviously implemented in Bitcoin's code and cannot be changed. But it's important to know that the halving events actually get less and less significant as time goes on. Because for example, the first ever Bitcoin halving took the block reward from 50 Bitcoin every single block down to 25 every single block. So that was a reduction of 25 Bitcoin per block, compared to the next halving, which took us from 25 Bitcoin down to 12.5. And then the most recent halving, the third halving, took us from 12.5 to 6.25. And then the fourth halving, which we'll most likely see in 2024, will take us down to a block reward of 3.125. So that will only be reducing the block reward by 3.125 when the next halving comes around, which is obviously a lot less significant than that first halving, which took us down by 25 Bitcoin every block. So the halvings are always going to be very important for Bitcoin, and it's very likely that we're still going to see a pretty significant gain after each halving for at least the next few halvings. But Bitcoin will eventually reach a point where the halvings are almost not going to matter anymore, at least until we get to the very last halving, where we finally reach the Bitcoin supply cap at 21 million Bitcoin. But that halving is not meant to arrive until around 120 years from now, in the year 2140. And by the way, I shared some of the information in this video about half a day ago over on my Twitter. So if you want to get these real-time updates throughout the day, make sure you're following me over on my Twitter, and my official Twitter is in the description down below for any of you that want to stay up to date at all times in these markets. And if you enjoyed this video or got something valuable out of this video, make sure to leave a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on for more videos just like this every single day. And also, considering the fact that we are seeing an amazing opportunity right now in the markets, there's never been a better time to share these videos around with your friends and family to get everyone involved in this huge opportunity. And just before you click off this video, make sure you're checking out one of these uploads right here. I've got a Bitcoin trading tutorial showing how I trade Bitcoin, and a passive income video showing how I earn passive income every single day in crypto. But anyway, that's really everything I have to say for this video. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.